It all started with a tweet. When Elon Musk responded to a political post that subtly criticized Donald Trump, few thought it would lead to a public feud. But things escalated quickly. JD Vance, a rising political figure and a close ally to both men, stepped in with a bombshell statement that left the political world stunned. Why would Musk challenge Trump now? And what exactly did JD Vance reveal? According to JD Vance, the feud is not just personal, it's strategic. Musk reportedly believes that Trump's influence over the Republican base is hurting innovation and America's global tech dominance. In private circles, Musk has expressed frustration that political nostalgia is overpowering progress. Vance suggests that Musk is making a calculated move to shift the Republican narrative toward the future rather than the past. Donald Trump, however, sees things differently. He believes that Elon Musk is overstepping his role as a tech entrepreneur and entering political waters without real understanding. Trump reportedly told close advisors that Musk is acting like a kingmaker without ever being elected. These words, according to insiders, didn't sit well with Musk, and the online sparring intensified. JD Vance has been trying to play peacemaker between the two titans. In a recent interview, he shared that both men are driven by ambition, but their visions for America are vastly different. While Musk champions innovation, AI, and space exploration, Trump focuses on economic nationalism, law and order, and conservative values. This ideological clash is now playing out in real time on social media. What makes this conflict even more fascinating is its potential impact on the 2024 election. With Musk increasingly voicing political opinions and potentially influencing millions through platforms like X, formerly Twitter, he's becoming a serious force. Trump's team is reportedly considering Musk's tech influence a threat to their campaign narrative. And JD Vance, he's caught in the middle, trying to keep allies from becoming enemies. One of the more unexpected twists in this drama is Musk's decision to speak publicly about his vision for the Republican Party. He's voiced support for figures like Ron DeSantis in the past, but has now pivoted toward criticizing the entire GOP leadership. JD Vance interprets this shift as Musk testing the waters, not necessarily to run, but to reshape the ideological framework of American conservatism for the digital age. Trump's reaction has been anything but subtle. On Truth Social, he made veiled jabs about billionaires who think rockets make them politicians. The jab clearly targeted Musk's ventures into space and politics. Vance believes this isn't just Trump being Trump, it's strategic positioning. Trump wants to remind his base that he's the one with electoral victories, not Musk. This isn't just a battle of egos, it's a contest of legitimacy. JD Vance's unique position in this power struggle makes his insights particularly valuable. As someone who's aligned himself with Trump in the past and has growing connections in Silicon Valley, he sees both sides. According to Vance, the core disagreement comes down to control. Who sets the future agenda for conservative America? Is it traditional populist nationalism, or is it techno-optimistic futurism? The answer may reshape U.S. politics. It's not just about Musk and Trump. This feud reflects a growing rift within the Republican Party itself. JD Vance warns that without a clear unified vision, the party could fracture ahead of the 2024 elections. One wing favors traditional policies championed by Trump, while the other, influenced by tech entrepreneurs like Musk, wants a more modern and globally competitive strategy. The two visions are increasingly incompatible. Musk's influence over social media has become another key flashpoint. With X now positioned as a primary platform for political discourse, Musk controls the battlefield. Trump, who once relied heavily on Twitter before launching Truth Social, now sees his digital reach threatened. JD Vance says this media power imbalance is not just about communication. It's about narrative control. Whoever controls the narrative often controls the momentum. One question that keeps arising is whether this conflict is personal or purely ideological. JD Vance thinks it's both. Musk and Trump are both used to being the dominant voice in any room, and their inability to coexist in the same political space was bound to lead to conflict. Vance noted that the Republican Party may no longer be big enough to hold both of their ambitions under one roof. Many are wondering if this feud will push Musk into politics officially. While he's denied any intentions to run for office, his actions suggest he's deeply invested in shaping public policy. JD Vance said that Musk's behind-the-scenes involvement in campaigns and policy discussions is increasing. Whether he steps forward as a political figure or continues to influence from the sidelines, his role is undeniable. Interestingly, the feud could also affect fundraising. Trump has always been a powerhouse when it comes to pulling in donations, especially from grassroots supporters. But Musk's connections to high-net-worth individuals and tech executives gives him a different kind of fundraising clout. JD Vance warns that this could split donors, and that would hurt the Republican Party's chances in 2024, especially if a third figure rises. Another major component of this feud is the generational gap. Trump's base tends to skew older, while Musk's appeal is strongest among younger conservatives and libertarians. JD Vance thinks this generational shift is being accelerated by the culture wars and the tech revolution. The younger generation doesn't see politics the same way, and they're more likely to support someone like Musk who challenges institutions. Behind closed doors, sources close to both Trump and Musk say there's little hope for reconciliation. JD Vance, however, remains optimistic. He believes that while their egos may clash, their ultimate goals, American strength, innovation, and independence, are aligned. The real issue is about method and messaging. If someone can unify their visions, it might be Vance himself, who's already being discussed as a VP contender. Some political analysts have speculated that JD Vance is using this feud to elevate his own status. Being at the center of a clash between Elon Musk and Donald Trump places him in a uniquely powerful position. While Vance denies any personal ambition in the matter, his increased media presence and strategic commentary suggest he's preparing for a bigger role on the national stage, perhaps even as the bridge between tech and traditional conservatism. The business world is also watching closely. Corporate leaders are divided. Some see Musk's vision as vital for U.S. competitiveness, especially in AI and renewable energy. Others align more with Trump's protectionist economic policies. JD Vance warns that if this ideological split spreads to boardrooms and campaign donations, the Republican economic platform could collapse under the weight of internal contradictions. JD Vance revealed that behind the scenes, there have been attempts to set up a private meeting between Trump and Musk. The idea was floated by a mutual donor who believed they could find common ground. However, Musk reportedly refused to meet unless the discussion would be policy-focused and free from political theatrics. Trump, on the other hand, wanted an endorsement moment. The meeting never happened. What makes this conflict so unprecedented is the lack of clear sides. Traditional politicians are unsure whom to support. Aligning with Trump still offers voter loyalty, but Musk controls the future-facing message. JD Vance has said that many in the GOP are waiting to see who wins. This hesitation reflects a deeper identity crisis within the party, one that this feud is only accelerating. For Musk, the stakes go beyond politics, they're existential. He's building a future in space, artificial intelligence, and human-machine integration. To him, the pace of government is frustratingly slow. JD Vance interprets Musk's criticism of Trump's policies as rooted in this impatience. Musk believes that America must evolve rapidly or risk falling behind China and other global powers. This urgency is clashing with Trump's nostalgic messaging. Trump's inner circle, meanwhile, has grown increasingly wary of Musk's growing popularity. JD Vance reported that campaign advisors have started tracking Musk's posts and their engagement metrics to assess political threat levels. They're not just looking at what Musk says, but how his followers react. These numbers don't lie, and the Trump team knows that digital influence translates into electoral power. Another layer to this feud is the issue of censorship and free speech. Musk's acquisition of Twitter was framed as a mission to restore open dialogue. Trump has praised this in the past, but has since grown suspicious of Musk's intentions. JD Vance said both men agree on free speech in principle, but disagree on its boundaries. This philosophical conflict has turned a shared value into a point of division. Many are also questioning whether this feud will spill into the Republican National Convention. With Trump expected to dominate the stage, Musk's presence or absence will send a strong signal. JD Vance hinted that Musk might make a statement during the event through digital platforms, bypassing traditional media entirely. If this happens, it could further undercut Trump's control of the conservative narrative. The American voter is now caught in the middle of a clash of titans. JD Vance says that more than ever, voters are looking for leadership that combines vision with action. Some admire Musk's innovation, but still trust Trump's political experience. This division could lead to a fractured base, or worse, a third-party challenge that derails the GOP's 2024 hopes. Internationally, the feud is drawing attention as well. Leaders in Europe and Asia are analyzing the situation closely. JD Vance believes that how the U.S. resolves this internal division will send a signal to allies and adversaries alike. Will America double down on populism or embrace a future-oriented leadership model? The answer may not come from elections, but from the resolution or escalation of this feud. Some insiders claim that Trump's team has considered publicly challenging Musk's business practices if the feud continues. From SpaceX subsidies to Tesla labor controversies, nothing is off limits. JD Vance warned that turning this feud into a scorched earth battle could backfire on both. Voters dislike infighting, especially when it threatens national interests or job creation. It's a dangerous game that could implode spectacularly. Musk, for his part, continues to play the long game. Rather than engaging in direct name-calling, he uses satire, memes, and data to make his points. JD Vance sees this as a deliberate strategy. Musk is appealing to the next generation of voters, those who are more online than ever. It's less about dominating debates and more about shaping the language and logic of public discourse. The tech community is rallying behind Musk. CEOs and engineers across Silicon Valley are expressing subtle support through retweets, podcast discussions, and even donations. JD Vance warns that this alignment could create a tech caucus within the GOP, something that hasn't existed before. This faction may push for radical changes in education, AI governance, and immigration policies to suit their innovation agenda. For Trump, the media remains his strongest weapon. He still dominates conservative talk shows and right-leaning news networks. JD Vance noted that while Musk controls the platform, Trump controls the message. This asymmetry could lead to a communications war unlike anything we've seen before, one that bypasses traditional campaign strategies and redefines how politics is fought and won. So what's the endgame? JD Vance thinks it's about legacy. Trump wants to secure his place in history with a comeback victory. Musk wants to shape the future in his image. These goals may seem unrelated, but they're not. They're both trying to define what it means to be an American leader in the 21st century. And in doing so, they're rewriting the rules of political power. JD Vance says that the Republican base is starting to fragment into three camps: pro-Trump, pro-Musk, and neutral observers waiting to see who emerges stronger. This division is more than political, it's cultural. Musk appeals to those who see technology as salvation. Trump appeals to those who view tradition as the anchor. Vance warns that if these camps become too polarized, they may not reunite in time for a successful 2024 push. In private conversations, Vance revealed that some Republican strategists are quietly advising candidates to avoid endorsing either Musk or Trump too strongly. The fear is simple: alienating one side could be politically fatal. This strategic silence is creating a vacuum where no clear leadership is emerging. JD Vance believes that unless someone steps up with a unified message, the GOP risks losing not just the election, but its soul. At the heart of this feud is a deep philosophical divide about the future of America. Trump sees strength in sovereignty, borders, and industry. Musk sees strength in exploration, disruption, and limitless innovation. JD Vance suggests this isn't just a difference in policy, it's a different understanding of what America should be. This battle of visions is now playing out in front of the entire world. The education debate has also entered the conflict. Musk has criticized public education and teacher unions, advocating for homeschooling, online learning, and technical training. Trump, meanwhile, wants patriotic curriculum reforms. JD Vance notes that this divergence could split conservative families, those prioritizing tech-based futures versus those emphasizing traditional values. Education, long considered a unifier, is now another front in this cultural civil war. Religion is another area where the divide becomes clear. Trump leans into evangelical rhetoric and traditional religious support. Musk is more secular, often describing himself as a free thinker. JD Vance, who himself speaks about faith, sees this contrast as significant. Many religious conservatives are unsure if Musk's worldview truly aligns with their beliefs, even if they admire his intelligence and independence. Foreign policy is yet another wedge issue. Trump promotes America first and views global entanglements as dangerous. Musk, on the other hand, supports a globally integrated technological future, including cooperation on climate, space, and AI. JD Vance suggests that these two foreign policy outlooks are so different, they're pulling the party in opposite directions. The result is confusion and vulnerability on the world stage. On environmental issues, the contrast is even sharper. Musk is an advocate for electric vehicles, solar energy, and reducing carbon footprints. Trump has mocked climate science and doubled down on fossil fuels. JD Vance sees this tension as symbolic. Musk represents a data-driven future, while Trump stands for resource-driven nationalism. Neither side is compromising, which leaves GOP voters with difficult choices. Despite their differences, both Musk and Trump are masters of branding. JD Vance says they've built cults of personality, each with massive followings and loyalty. This makes compromise nearly impossible. If either man concedes, it's seen as weakness. Vance warns that this branding war may turn into a full political campaign battle, where loyalty to the individual becomes more important than party unity. Musk's fans are increasingly pushing for him to endorse candidates or create a PAC. Trump's team sees this as a direct threat. JD Vance has said that if Musk enters the donor ecosystem with more force, we could see primary challengers rise who are less beholden to Trump. That could split the conservative vote in crucial states, leading to unexpected upsets. There's also talk of Musk hosting a political forum on X, giving a platform to candidates and shaping the debate environment. JD Vance believes this would disrupt traditional debates hosted by media networks. It would also give Musk unprecedented power to control not just who speaks, but how the conversation is framed. For Trump, who thrives in controlled rallies, this represents a new challenge. One area where Musk and Trump surprisingly agree is on China, but even here, their approaches differ. Trump sees China as an enemy to be confronted. Musk views it as a partner to be outpaced through innovation. JD Vance notes that while their end goal, American dominance, is shared, the path is not. This disagreement creates policy confusion within the GOP. The media has enjoyed every moment of this feud. Headlines about tech titan versus MAGA king generate endless clicks. JD Vance worries that media sensationalism is only making the divide worse. Rather than thoughtful discussion, we get memes and insults. And in this chaos, real policy debates are lost, replaced by personality politics that may damage the country long term. Democrats are watching all of this unfold with interest. Some are even reaching out to Musk to court his influence. JD Vance warns that if Musk feels alienated by Republicans, he might shift his support elsewhere or create a political lane of his own. This could result in a three-way power split that would hand the advantage to whoever stays unified. Vance revealed that several major donors have begun encouraging a Musk-Trump summit. The goal would be to force reconciliation before the Republican National Convention. But Musk is reportedly unwilling to play theater. JD Vance believes that unless real policy discussions take place, no handshake will be meaningful, and the feud will only grow deeper. Culturally, the divide is showing up in merchandise, slogans, and even memes. JD Vance says this may sound trivial, but it matters. Politics is now as much about vibes as it is about votes. When influencers, content creators, and online communities take sides, it can move millions. This feud is no longer confined to elites. It's embedded in pop culture. Despite all the noise, one thing is clear. The Republican Party is undergoing a transformation. JD Vance says the outcome of this feud may define the next decade of American politics. Whether the party aligns with the future-oriented mindset of Musk or the populist message of Trump will determine not just who wins elections, but what conservatism means in the 21st century. There's also the wild card of Trump's legal challenges. JD Vance noted that if Trump becomes legally disqualified or distracted, Musk's influence could rise by default. In that case, expect a sudden shift in party leadership and donor focus. It's a scenario many in the GOP quietly prepare for, but few will discuss publicly. Musk has also teased the idea of launching his own political platform or movement, not necessarily a party, but a tech-centered ideological force. JD Vance finds this concept fascinating. It would bypass traditional structures entirely, appealing to the independent, libertarian, and anti-establishment voters. If Musk goes through with it, American politics may never be the same. Trump's supporters are fiercely loyal and unlikely to jump ship. But JD Vance notes that even they are curious about Musk's vision. The longer Musk speaks about liberty, innovation, and national rebirth, the more he attracts open minds. If this trend continues, it's not impossible to imagine former Trump voters shifting alliances quietly. Both men have something the other lacks. Trump has a political base. Musk has cultural dominance and vision. JD Vance says if they ever united, they'd be nearly unstoppable. But as long as they remain adversaries, their strengths cancel each other out, leaving the Republican Party weakened, divided, and vulnerable. The question now becomes, who will step in and take charge of the narrative? JD Vance? Ron DeSantis? A surprise contender? If no clear leader emerges to unify the party, the feud between Musk and Trump will define everything. And that, Vance warns, may lead to irreversible fractures within conservative politics. Voters are already showing signs of fatigue. Many express frustration at the constant drama and division. JD Vance believes the next leader must be someone who speaks less about personalities and more about vision. America, he says, is hungry for direction, not just noise. Musk has the power to shape technological destiny. Trump has the charisma to command massive political loyalty. JD Vance wonders aloud, what if neither is right for the future and someone new is coming? Perhaps this feud is not the end, but a catalyst for something entirely new in American politics. As this feud rages on, JD Vance urges Americans to ask deeper questions. What future do we want? Who do we trust to lead it? And how do we unify a fractured nation? These aren't just political questions, they're existential ones. And they won't be answered in 280 characters. The world is watching. America's allies, enemies, and competitors are all waiting to see what comes next. JD Vance says that this moment, this very feud, could become a defining chapter in American history. Whether it ends in partnership, power shift, or permanent division is still unknown. What happens next is up to the people. Will they choose vision or tradition, technology or legacy, or demand something altogether different? JD Vance concludes that history is rarely shaped by those who shout the loudest, but by those who dare to build something lasting. And that moment is now. In the end, perhaps the real story isn't about Elon Musk or Donald Trump, but about a nation trying to decide what it believes in. JD Vance says if Americans can look past the personalities and focus on the ideas, they might finally find the answers they've been searching for. Until then, the tweets will fly, the headlines will scream, and the battle between Trump and Musk will continue to dominate our screens. But beneath it all lies something deeper, a conversation about who we are, what we value, and where we're headed. JD Vance remains one of the few figures with access to both worlds, and the clarity to see what's really happening. Whether he becomes the peacemaker, the successor, or simply the chronicler of this moment remains to be seen. But his role is undeniable. So, as Elon Musk and Donald Trump continue their public showdown, remember, this is not just a political feud. It's a reflection of America at a crossroads. And the choice ahead isn't between two men, it's between two futures. Choose wisely. As the dust settles on this dramatic feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, one truth remains. America is standing at the edge of transformation. JD Vance has pulled back the curtain, revealing a battle not just of personalities, but of principles, visions, and values. The future won't be written by billionaires or ex-presidents alone. It will be shaped by the people who dare to think, speak, and act with courage. The next chapter is ours to write. If you found this deep dive thought-provoking, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others who care about the future of America. Your support helps keep important conversations alive.